talking to a student about the composer's choice of a time signature. I'm Hilda Ryan with your quick tip for piano teachers. I'm teaching Sailor's Song by Grieg to a student. I'm sure you've done this many times. After discussing what allegro, vivace, and marcato meant, we talked about the composer's choice of cut time rather than 4/4. Now I started by saying, now it says Sailor's Song. So are sailors ones that talk with a quiet, refined voice? Do they use long words and complicated sentences? Do they dress very formally in the coat and tie? Are their movements very reserved and smooth? She got the idea. Sailors are rough. We think of them as rough and coarse and very energetic. So this piece is written with half notes and quarter notes and a sprinkling of eighth notes. If it had been written with a 4/4 time signature, this is the way it goes. You'd have to conduct it like this, and that just looks really busy. I did that for her and she could see that didn't work very well. Now, you can slow it down if you look at half notes. If you want to make the conducting work, then you do this. You play like this. Now the conducting works, but the playing doesn't sound like allegro, vivace, and marcato. So, if he changed the note values and put in, instead of half notes going to quarter notes, if he put in quarter notes going to half notes, you could conduct it. But I said, there is no tempo associated with allegro. There's no tempo associated with quarter notes or half notes. But as performers, we have a tendency to go a little faster with the eighth notes. So if I saw quarter note, eighth, 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 this is probably the way I would play it. Does that fit? And she said, no. I said, so you see, cut time is really the only good answer, only good choice here, because you have the half notes and you have a conducting pattern that works. Not that anybody's conducting a pianist, but the feel, it works for the feel. And I think a student needs to understand that. They need to be taken into the mind of the composer if we can, and spend a few minutes. Say, well, it took a lot of time. Well, you see, I'm going to reap the results of that as she gets further down the road, because her understanding of the character of this piece is already set. She's going to go home and practice slowly now at a tempo that works and it's 90% accurate. But when the tempo comes up and we start talking about interpretive things, she already has in her mind the way this is supposed to sound. And that's why I think it's worth. I want her to understand, and because that helps to develop an independent musician. And that's what I'm after in my teaching.